नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 4, is entitled the Hamsa Guhya prayers offered by Daksha to Lord Vishnu. So we are reading from Shloka number 1 to Shloka number 4. Shri Rajovacha Devasuranranam Sargo Naganam Mrigapakshinam Samasikastvaya Prokto Yastu Swayambhuventare तस्यैव व्यासमिच्छामि ज्ञातुं ते भगवन् यथा अनुसर्गं यया शक्त्या ससर्ज भगवान् परः. Translation. The blessed king said to Shukdev Goswami, so it's Parikshit Maharaj speaking to Shukdev Goswami, "My dear Lord, the demigods, demons, human beings, nagas, beasts, and birds were created during the reign of Swayambhuva Manu. You have spoken about this creation briefly in the third canto. Now I wish to know about it elaborately. I also wish to know about the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by which He brought about the secondary creation." श्रीसूतोवाच इति सम्प्रश्नमाकर्ण्य राजर्षेर्बादरायणीः प्रतिनन्द्य महायोगी जगादमुनिसत्तमाः. Suta Goswami said, "O great sages, assembled at Naimisharanya." After the great yogi Shukdev Goswami heard King Parikshit's inquiry, he praised it and thus replied. Shri Shuka Uvacha Yada Prachetasah Putra Dasha Prachini Barhishaha Antah Samudrat Unmagna Dadrushurgam Drumair Vratam. Shukdev Goswami said, when the 10 sons of Prachini Barhi emerged from the waters, in which they were performing austerities, they saw that the entire surface of the world was covered by trees. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. When King Prachini Barhi was performing Vedic rituals in which the killing of animals was recommended, Narada Muni, out of compassion, advised him to stop. Prachini Barhi understood Narada properly and then left the kingdom to perform austerities in the forest. His 10 sons, however, were performing austerities within the water, and therefore there was no king to see to the management of the world. When the 10 sons, the Prachetas, came out of the water, they saw that the earth was overrun with trees. When the government neglects agriculture, which is necessary for the production of food, the land becomes covered with unnecessary trees. Of course, many trees are useful because they produce fruits and flowers, but many other trees are unnecessary. They could be used as fuel and the land cleared and used for agriculture. When the government is negligent, less grain is produced. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam Vaishyakarma Swabhavajam. The proper engagements for Vaishyas according to their nature are to farm and to protect cows. The duty of the government and the Kshatriyas is to see that the members of the third class, the Vaishyas, who are neither Brahmanas nor Kshatriyas, are thus properly engaged. Kshatriyas are meant to protect human beings, whereas Vaishyas are meant to protect useful animals, especially cows. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्तसे नमः। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. So Srimad Bhagavatam is called as a Mahapurana. It's called Mahapurana because it contains most of the important topics which need to be covered. Generally, Puranas talk about 10 topics. Some Puranas have 5 topics. They are called Upapuranas. And some Puranas have all the 10 topics in detail being explained in them. So they are called Mahapuranas. Srimad Bhagavatam is one of such Mahapuranas, which contains all the topics in detail. And systematically, Bhagavatam explains these 10 topics. In the 12 cantos of Bhagavatam, these 10 topics are elaborated in different places. And now we are discussing the 6th canto, which elaborates the topic of Poshanam. Poshanam means the mercy of the Lord or the protection of the Lord. How the Lord, out of his great compassion and mercy, protects the devotees and gives mercy to them. So that is the topic elaborated in the 6th canto. So Parikshit Maharaj he is asking here the question that Sukadeva Goswami, you have very nicely described the topics of Sarga and Visarga. Deva Asura Nranam Sargaha. You have explained the creation of Devatas, Asuras, humans, Nagas, Mriga means animals, Pakshina means birds, Samasikastvaya Prokto. You have very nicely explained. Yastu Swayambhuve Antare, in the reign of Swayambhuva Manu, right? So a lot of creation happened because that was the first Manvantara and creation began in that Manvantara. So the first topic described in Srimad Bhagavatam is Sarga. Sarga means creation. So out of the 10 topics, first one is Sarga. Second one is Visarga. Visarga is secondary creation. Sarga is primary creation. Right? So, Bhuta Matra Indriyaha. Sarga Udahrataha. It is said in the second canto of Bhagavatam, right? That the creation of Pancha Mahabhutas, Pancha Tanmatras, Indriyas, five Karmendriyas, five Jnanendriyas, and Mahatattva, and mind, intelligence, ego, the subtle elements. So creation of all these things is called as Sarga. Brahmano Guna Vaishamyad Visarga Udahartaha. So the creation which is done by Brahma, that is called as Visarga. So Brahmaji takes all the ingredients from the nature given by Lord and then assembles them and produces bodies for the jivas who are waiting to occupy the bodies. So in this way, Sarga and Visarga is elaborately described in the second canto and third canto. So second canto describes how from the body of Mahavishnu came all the material elements. And with the glands of Mahavishnu, it got activated, and the three modes got activated, and the varieties of elements were produced. And then it was also described that how Mahavishnu expanded into Garbhodaksha Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhodaksha Vishnu came Brahmaji, and Brahmaji was wondering, who am I? What am I supposed to do? So then he did tapasya for hundreds of years. And then the Lord appeared to him. The Lord gave darshan. And then the Lord instructed Brahma that you start creation. So then Brahmaji, being empowered by the Lord, he started secondary creation. He created the 14 planetary systems. He produced 84 lakh species of bodies and put the jivas as per their karma and svabhava into all the species of life. So this is elaborately described in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Parikshit Maharaj is hearing all these wonderful stories uh, spoken by Shukadeva Goswami. So Brahmaji started creating, and Brahmaji produced Manu and Shadrupa. Of course, he created many other rishis also, but finally produced Manu and Shadrupa. And Manu and Shadrupa's dynasty was explained in detail till the fifth canto. Swayambhu Manu had 5 children: Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti, then Uttanapada, Priyavrata. Devahuti's story is elaborately described in the third canto. Her son, Kapila Dev, is Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Akuti was married to Prajapati Ruchi, and they also produced further children. And then Prasuti was married to Daksha, and then several children were produced. And then we hear about Uttanapada Maharaj. Uttanapada Maharaj, he had 2 wives, Suniti, Suruchi, and then Suniti's son was Dhruva. And Dhruva's stories and Dhruva's lineage was explained in detail. And one of the kings in the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj was Prachini Parishad. So Prachini Parishad, he was a great king, and his children were Prachetas. The 10 sons were Prachetas. So the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam ends with the story of how Prachetas, they did tapasya underwater. And then they got darshan of Lord Vishnu, and they came out and married Marisha. And then they actually also ruled the kingdom, and a child was born whose name was Daksha. So that's where the fourth canto ends. And Daksha went to do tapasya, so there is no ruler in this world. So then fifth canto began with the story of Priyavrata Maharaj. Priyavrata Maharaj, who had gone to do tapasya in the forest, was called back to rule the kingdom. So, although not willing to do so, Priyavrata comes back and takes up charge of the kingdom. And then in his dynasty came Rishabhadev and Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj's story and his liberation was explained in detail in the fifth canto. And in fifth canto, Parishit Maharaj wanted to hear about the different planets and how the jivas are situated in those planets and how they are performing devotional service in the planets. So the third topic of sthanam was explained there. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam. Right? Sthanam is the uh, is the explanation of how the jivas in different planets are performing devotional service to the Lord. Then the fourth topic is taken up in the sixth canto, which is Poshanam. Poshanam tad anugraha. So the definition of Poshanam is the mercy of the Lord. Right? Sthitihi Vaikuntha Vijayaha. Right? Sthanam means how the devotees of the Lord in different planets are performing devotional service. How they are glorifying the Lord in all the planets. Poshanam tad anugraha. How the Lord is merciful to the devotees. That is Poshanam, which is explained in the sixth canto. Mhm. Therefore, the original creator of the universe is Vishnu, and he is also the maintainer of the created beings by his causeless mercy. Tad anugraha. As such, it is the duty of all conditioned souls to acknowledge the victory of the Lord and thus become pure devotees and live peacefully in this world, where miseries and dangers are always in existence. So, this world is full of miseries. Padam padam yad vipadam nadesham. But the Lord is merciful to his devotees, and through all the difficulties, the Lord protects the devotees. That is his mercy. So Prabhupada elaborately describes this. Manvantarani, the fifth topic is Manvantara, which is described in the eighth canto. Sad Dharma. How Manu establishes Dharma. That's called Sad Dharma. In the 14 Manvantaras, how the Manu Maharaj ruled the kingdom. Utayaha Karma Vasanaha. Uti means Karma Vasana, which is described in the seventh canto. How Prahlad Maharaj had good vasanas. He was a devotee. And Hiranyakashipu had bad vasanas, bad samskaras. So the Uti is described there. Then Avataranujaritam Harishchanuvarnitaha Pumsam Ishakatha Prokta. So the ninth canto describes about avatars of the Lord. That's called Ishanukatha. The Nanakhyan Upabrahmitam, with lot of different, many varieties of stories are described there. Then 11th canto describes about, 12th canto describes about Nirodha, Asyanushayanam, withdrawal of the material world, destruction of the world. Atmanaha Sashakti Muktiritva Anitarupam Sarupana Visati. The 11th canto describes Mukti, which is nothing but being situated in our Sarupa, the original form. All of us have got a Sarupa in the spiritual world, but we have not forgotten it. And we have acquired material Sarupa. I am a man, I am a woman, I am an Indian, I am American. But giving up that and then going to the Lord, going back to our own original position, that's called Sarupa. And then the 10th topic is Ashraya. Avasascha nirodhascha yato asti adhyavasiyate sa ashraya param brahma paramatmeti shakyate. So the shelter of everything is Supreme Brahman, Param Brahma, Paramatma, who is none other than Krishna. So that is the 10th topic. So in the 6th canto, the topic of Poshanam is explained. So till now, you have been discussing the first three chapters of the 6th canto, which is a story of Ajamila. How Lord protected his devotee Ajamila. Ajamila, just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, was protected. So that is the first story of Anugraha. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells that the protection given to people who transgress the laws of dharma and the devotees is called Poshanam by the wise. Sinful Ajamila is considered a devotee, and Indra, even though he was offensive to Guru, is also considered a devotee. So they're mixed devotees. Ajamila, in the early days, he was a very nice, pious Brahmana. He was doing pujas, he was chanting mantras, he led a pure life. But Dasya Samsarga Dushitaha, he became contaminated by the association of prostitute. And then he lost all his character. Navana Nashta Sadacharo. So he became bad. He lost all his good qualities. Nashta Sadacharo. So Lord, seeing that my devotee is now in difficulty, he has gone astray because of attraction to material life. So Lord protected him. The Lord inspired him to give the last child's name as Narayana, and the Lord also inspired Ajamila to call out Narayana's name at the final days, isn't it? So in this way, Lord protected Ajamila. The second story described is about Indra. So Indra's story is going to start after 3 chapters. How Indra, being a mixed devotee, he also offended Guru because of pride. He thought that I am great, I am receiving all the worship, right? I am the most powerful. So he had that kind of pride. So he committed an offense and he lost all his power. The demons attacked him. So at that time, Lord came to protect Indra. How he protected Indra, that is described in this chapter. Of course, Indra repented for his mistake and then he actually rectified himself. And Lord reinstated Indra back into his position as the king of the heavens. So there is a second story of Poshanam described in this canto. And later on, the protection of to Chitraketu will also be described. So giving protection to Ajamila and Indra as well as Chitraketu in the 19 chapters of the 6th canto shows the Lord's affection for his devotee. 3 chapters tell the story of Ajamila, 6 chapters describe Vishwarupa, and 8 chapters describe the story of Vritrasura. The 2 chapters describe the birth of Maruts, in which Indra observes Diti as she performs vows. So in this way, the Poshanam is described. Now, after hearing the story of Ajamila, Parikshit Maharaj wanted to continue the topic which he was listening to at the end of 4th canto. Prachetas was there, did tapasya, they retired. Then after that, Daksha was born. So what happened? So it is said that in the Swayambhava Manvantara, Brahma's son was Daksha, and Daksha was married to Prasuti, and he got several daughters, and one of the daughters was Sati, and Sati was married to Shiva by the order of Brahma. She was married to Shiva, and there was a tussle between Shiva and Daksha because Daksha felt offended when Shiva did not get up in the assembly, and then Daksha insulted Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva tolerated that, but the devotees of Lord Shiva could not tolerate. There was a fight and everything, and then you know the whole story. How later on Sati also wanted to visit her home because there was a function going on. So at the time, Shiva told, "Don't go," but then Sati still went, and then she saw that in the assembly Shiva was again insulted because she was neglected, and she committed. She burnt herself. And then Shiva became angry and cut off the head of Daksha. And when all the Devatas went and prayed to Lord Shiva, Shiva attached the goat head to Daksha. And Daksha repented and did tapasya for several years. And then he was again born as son of Prachetas. See, in the first Manvantara only, in the Swayambhu Manvantara only, Daksha was born as son of Prachetas, and he felt that I'm offensive, I'm sinful, so I have to purify myself. So let me do austerities. So he performed austerities up to the Chakshusha Manvantara. For 5 Manvantaras. Swayambhu Manvantara is the first Manvantara, and Chakshusha Manvantara is the 6th Manvantara. So he performed several austerities till the sixth Manvantara. And now the story of Chakshusha Manvantara is being described. So the birth of Daksha will be described now. And then Daksha's austerities will be described, which is the Hamsagohya prayers, the chapter which we are discussing now. So I'm just giving an overview so that we know where we are and what discussion is going to come in the future. So this story is the first Manvantara only, Swayambhu Manvantara. Daksha is born and now he goes to do tapasya. And after doing tapasya, he produces 10,000 children and all of them go to do austerities. Narada comes and takes them on the path of brahmacharya. They take sannyas. Daksha becomes upset. Again, he produces 1,000 children. And again, they all go to do austerities. Again, Narada comes and says, follow your brothers. So they again go to do tapasya. They become sannyasis. And then again, Daksha produces 60 daughters. Okay. And these 60 daughters were married to different personalities. Okay. And one of the personalities born was um, Twashta, daughter of Aditi and Kashyapa. And Twashta had a son called Vishwarupa, and Vishwarupa was killed by Indra. So, while narrating, Shukadeva Goswami mentions that Vishwarupa was killed by Indra, and then later on, Twashta performed a sacrifice to kill Indra, and Vritarasura was born. So, in this way, he just mentions this, and then Parikshit Maharaj asks a question: why did Indra kill Vishwarupa? And what was the yajna which he did, and how was Vritarasura born? So all that inquisitiveness came in the heart of Parikshit Maharaj, and then begins the story of Indra and Brihaspati, and then how Indra lost all his fame because of offense. This goes on. There's a long story. There's 6 chapters describing about Indra's offense and his repentance, and then another 8 chapter describing Chitraketu Maharaj and his wonderful qualities. So this, in order to speak about Twashta and Vishwarupa, so this scene is being set of how Daksha does austerities and then gets married to gets married and then produces 60 daughters. So that is being described now. He gets married to Asikni and then produces 60 daughters. So here, going to the purport, which Srila Prabhupada has explained. Yeah. So here in this question, O great sages, after the great yogi Shukadeva Goswami heard Parikshit's inquiry, he praised it and replied. So generally when pure devotees hear any inquiry about Krishna, they become happy and they glorify the person because the person is giving them an opportunity to speak about Krishna. So they glorify and then start speaking. So here Shukadeva Goswami speaks, Yada prachetasa putra dasha prachini barhishaha. So the 10 sons of Prachini Barhishat, when they were doing austerities, antaha samudram unmagna, in the ocean. It's called an ocean here, but it is a lake. It is a big lake. It is said that this is somewhere near Guruvayur in South India, Kerala, where they were performing these austerities. So when they were unmagna in the water, they actually there was no administrator. Why there is no administrator? Because Narada Muni, he thought Prachetas, they are doing tapasya in the water and they have already attained darshan of Lord Shiva. Very soon they are going to get darshan of Lord Vishnu also. But their father, Prachini Parishat, is rotting, doing karmakanda activities and stuck up in this material world. You should deliver him also. So you have heard the story of Puranjana. Narada goes to Prachina Parishad and speaks in detail the story of Puranjana, which is everybody's story. It's yours and mine story, which has been going on since many, many births. So, after hearing the story, Prachini Parishad becomes very serious. Yes, Narada Muni, what you're telling is right. My gurus, Kula gurus, they never instructed me on this. They only told me to do karmakand activities and be happy in this world and then attain Swarga in the next life. That's what I knew, but I did not know what you are telling. You are telling that bhakti is the supermost. Even if you do karmakanda activities, you go to Swarga, but again come down after some time. So, what is the use of doing this karmakanda activities? You have really opened my eyes, Narada Muni. I will surely surrender to Lord Krishna. Then Narada said, don't delay, surrender now, immediately. Prajin Varshita thought, but my children, they are in the forest, they are doing tapasya in water. Let them come. Narada said, not necessary. So then Prajin Varshita became quite very serious. I said, okay, Narada Muni, I am leaving. So he called all his ministers. He handed over his kingdom. Uh, he made them in charge of the administration and said that my children, after some time, they will come back. So give them the specific instructions. He wrote a note and gave them, told them to give this to Prachetas, the instructions for them. And then Prachini Parishad, he left. So Prachini Parishad, the main king, he left. And then all the children, they were in water doing austerities. And the ministers, they were given charge, but they did not know how to rule because a king is required, a director is required to give them orders on how to rule the kingdom. So, because there was lack of proper administration, what happened was the forest, um, everywhere there was thick forest, tall trees were growing. Okay, so trees are important, but there are some unnecessary trees which occupy space and they're of no use. They can be used as firewood, that's all. So the trees were so overgrown, it was so thick that not even sun rays were touching the ground. It was so thick forest. So when Prachetas came out, they saw, oh, everywhere trees are growing and there is no agriculture land and people are hungry, they are suffering because of a want of food. So this is bad administration. So they became unhappy, they became angry, and they started burning all the trees. So you will see in the next couple of verses that how Prachetas they start burning all the trees with their eyes because they're mystic yogis. They could produce fire element through their eyes and they start burning everything. So Prabhupada here says that good administration means it should look after good agriculture. So the whole purport today focuses on agriculture. When the government neglects agriculture, which is necessary for the production of food, the land becomes covered with unnecessary trees. Of course, many trees are useful because they produce fruits and flowers, but many other trees are unnecessary. They could be used as fuel and the land cleared and used for agriculture. When the government is negligent, less grain is produced. So one of the first duty of government is to see that people have sufficient food. Nobody should go hungry, and food should be affordable and very easily available to everyone. It should not be very costly. So roti, kapada, makan, the three necessities of human. Roti means food, kapada means clothes, and makan means a shelter to stay. So these three necessities must be provided to everybody, and they should government should see that there is no beggars in the country and there are no unemployed people in the country. So they should have good food, they should have good job, and they should have some shelter to stay. So in this way, the government has to do good governance. Not using. Hare Krishna. I like too. Kind of.
Hare Krishna, I'll mute Prabhu, sorry.
Yeah, I muted them. So the principles of good governance are given here. One of the first thing is to see that agriculture is going on nicely. Srila Prabhupada, in this connection of agriculture, in other places he mentions, uh, of course, nowadays we don't hear this much, but in the past, people are starving, there is starvation, there is starvation, there is no sufficient grains. So that used to be in the news. But Prabhupada said that there is no shortage of food. Earth can produce sufficient. Earth can produce food which can feed 10 times the population. That much capacity is there. But Prabhupada says that I am going all over the world and I see so much vacant land and that is not being used for agriculture. That's why there is shortage. If every portion of the land is properly utilized for agriculture, then there will be no shortage. So land is being mismanaged. So that's why there is shortage. So this land can produce abundant. It is. I speak to some people who are doing agriculture. They say for one family, half an acre of land is good enough. Somebody is speaking. Kindly mute yourself. Hmm. So we see that people are misusing the land. So that's why there is shortage. But if somebody has half an acre of land, one family can easily sustain. That's good enough. That's what expert devotees say. And if you want to keep cows, so you can have 1 acre of land, keep cows, grow some food, and then it is sufficient. So one can produce grains, one can produce vegetables and fruits, and one can eat. If you have one mango tree per family, it can feed so much mangoes. It can give so many mangoes, hundreds of mangoes. You cannot even eat so many mangoes. If you have one jackfruit tree, that is good enough. It will give so many jackfruits that you can eat and you can feed all the neighbors also. So that much abundance Lord gives. See, one mango seed put in the soil grows into a tree and gives hundreds of mangoes. So Lord is giving abundant. You put one rice paddy and it grows and produces thousands of seeds, isn't it? So Krishna has designed this world in such a way that there should be abundance. There should not be shortage. But shortage comes when we mismanage, when we don't utilize the land properly. And another reason Prabhupada says that instead of growing grains, people are growing tobacco. So they're growing tobacco, marijuana, and other weeds, because of which the land is being misused. And third reason for shortage of grains is eating non-veg. Because people are eating non-veg, they have to grow animals. That's called cattle rearing. Cattle rearing or animal husbandry, they say. So they have to grow sheep, they have to grow cows, pigs, and to make them fat, they have to feed them proteins. So they grow soya seeds in vast areas of land, especially in Africa. So African jungles are being cleared and a lot of soya is being produced. And this soya is transported to countries like America where they feed the cattle. So there's tons and tons and tons of grains are fed to cattle to make them grow fat. And then they cut the animals and then they eat. So scientifically and statistically speaking, 20 kgs of grain produces 1 kg of flesh. 1 kg of flesh can maybe feed one family of 2, 3 people. But 20 kg of grains, it can feed more than 200 people, isn't it? So 1 kg can feed 10 people. So 20 kg can feed about 200 people. So 1 kg of meat can feed only one family of 2, 3 people. So see, so much of money is getting, so much of grains are getting wasted. So if people stop eating non-veg, there will be no shortage of food in this world. because so much of land is being utilized to produce grains to feed the cattle, and very few people are eating. So this goes to show that there is mismanagement of land, and we don't know how to eat and what to eat. So if everybody eats grains, there will be no shortage at all. Even if somebody stops eating meat even for one day, there can be so much abundant food. So, but because of taste, they want to eat non-veg food. They want to cut animals and eat. Of course, there is no taste in that. That's what I heard. But they artificially try to uh, create some reasons for eating flesh. Oh, there is no protein in plant food, so let's take animal protein. People say that. Yesterday I was reading this Prabhupada Leelamrita. Right? So this is the 50th disappearance year of Srila Prabhupada, starting this year to next year. So just thought of reading some pastimes. And Prabhupada, when he was just a small boy, baby, he got fever. And then there was a doctor called Mr. Bose, Dr. Bose. He was Gaur Mohande's friend. And Gaur Mohande takes the child to Bose, and then Bose says, "Oh, he's very sick. You have to feed him chicken soup. Now that will give him good protein and he can recover." But Gaur Mohande says, "We never did this. We never eat. We don't even smell it. So forget about it. We can't cook in home." And Dr. Bose said, "Don't worry, I'll cook and bring. She can feed Abhay." So Gaur Mohande felt, "Oh, I don't like it, but for the sake of child, I'm ready to do this because my child has to survive." So then Dr. Bose brought this soup and then trying to feed with spoon to the baby. But as soon as Abhay put it in the mouth, he vomited. And that's it. He never ate it again. So then Gaurumade also understood that Abhay will not take this. So then, of course, without chicken soup, Abhay recovered and they became healthy. So we don't need to take animal food. Right? Plant food is good enough. So we can take a healthy or plant foods, which is better for our body. And it's natural. That's what Krishna has prescribed. Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam, Yome, Bhaktya, Prayachati. Right? Krishna is telling that you eat these four items. That's good enough. Eating non-veg is unnatural. But nowadays, what is happening? Even vegetarian food is getting contaminated because of chemicals. So one person had shared me a video saying that uh, in the fields they spray a lot of pesticides to kill insects. So all that pesticide is there on the fruits and vegetables, and the same human being who's spraying this pesticides eats that fruit, right? So the same pesticide which is used to kill other species will damage us also. Karma is going to come. So karma will come because we cause harm to others. The karma will come back. So that comes in the form of cancer or some other diseases like that. So, but Krishna has given so many natural things which can keep the insects away, but still people want to use this chemical fertilizers, chemical insecticides so that they can save time quickly. They can do the job quickly and they can use the remaining time for sense gratification. So that's why there is no healthy food available now. So that's why uh, people get sick. Mm. And many people say that no, there's a vitamin B12 deficiency and all, because there's no vitamin B12 in plant products. But recently, Madhav Prabhu, who is a very senior devotee and who is into agriculture, he was telling in our Brahmachari Sangha in Tirupati that there is a scientific paper published by American University saying that food which is grown in cow dung will have vitamin B12. But if food is grown using chemical fertilizers, there will be no vitamin B12. So that's what he's saying. He said there is a research paper. We can search and read that. So basically, agriculture is to be promoted, and government should ensure that there is sufficient food grains, healthy food grains available for all people. When the government is negligent, less grain is produced. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Krishi Gorakshava Nityam Vaishyakarma Svabhavajam. The proper engagements for Vaishyas according to their nature are to farm and to protect cows. The duty of the government and the Kshatriyas is to see that the members of the third class, the Vaishyas, who are neither Brahmanas nor Kshatriyas, are thus properly engaged. So the Vaishyas are supposed to do these things. Krushi means agriculture, Goraksha, protecting the cows, and Vanijam, business. And the Kshatriyas should give protection to the Vaishyas so that they can do their job nicely. Kshatriyas are meant to protect human beings, whereas Vaishyas are meant to protect useful animals, especially cows. Not only cows, they keep cows, they keep buffaloes, they keep sheep, and wool, they produce wool and all. So in this way, the Vaishyas, they take care of animals and Kshatriyas give protection to the other people in the kingdom. So in this way, everybody, if they do their duty properly, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, there will be nice harmony in this world. Now here, Prachetas, they have come out of the water and they're seeing everywhere there is misadministration because there is no proper Kshatriya available. So Prachetas, they take up the charge, they become kings, and they clear up certain portions of the land and they do agriculture, they encourage agriculture, and then sufficient grains were available to all living entities. So Prachetas, they do their material responsibilities also, and they continue practicing spiritual duties as well. So in this way, both material and spiritual duties, they performed nicely. So this goes to show that even people working in this outside world should also have balance. They should do their material duties as much as required, and rest of the time should be utilized for Krishna conscious activities. So minimizing material life and maximizing spiritual life. So that should be the goal of our. This is called Swadharma. Swadharma means our duties. There is material Swadharma and spiritual Swadharma. So material Swadharma should be kept as minimum as possible, as much as necessary, and one should use all time for Krishna consciousness. So that's what we can learn from Prachetas. And regarding good food, just one more point that nowadays we don't find that kind of good food. So if you know anybody doing agriculture with uh, organic way, in natural way, one duty recently got a full box or bag of mangoes. Approved this grown in my farm. So I got it and offered to the deities. So that will be very pleasing to the Lord and to the devotees as well. So good healthy fruits, healthy vegetables and all. So if somebody has a farm, he can also think of doing that, uh, cultivating food in an organic way. And of course, nowadays people uh, don't have the habit of working in farm. But if somebody has that, then you can utilize that. Like Bhakti Raghu Maharaj came 2 days back and he was telling that there is a necessity. Right? How long can we go on eating this chemical food? So that will destroy the Sattva. So if you have healthy food, organic food, that is better for health and spiritual life also. Because if we eat natural food, then Sattva can be maintained. And in Sattva, it's easy to think of Krishna. Right? Even the packet milk which comes, it is unnatural. It is processed and all the essence is removed, and then what remains is white liquid. So if there's good source of milk, good source of vegetables, good source of fruits, and good source of grains also. Of course, economy also has to be seen in economic. It may be a little costly than normal chemical food, but if that better food is available, and devotees can transition to that so that one can maintain sattva and lead a happy life as well as lead a intense spiritual life also. So these are some of the thoughts regarding this 4 verses. So basically today I gave an overview of the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam and how the sixth canto focuses on Poshanam. Poshanam tad anugraha, the mercy of the Lord. The first story described till the third chapter was story of Alamila. And now the story of Indra will be described. And in order to tell that story, Daksha and Daksha's marriage, Asigni, and then subsequent production of 60 daughters, and then how Twashta was born and Vishrupa was born, and how Indra killed Vishrupa, that will be described, and then production of Indra and production of to Vrutrasura will also be described in the subsequent chapters. So then focusing on today's verse, we discussed how the government should ensure that there is good production of grains and fruits. Otherwise, people will be disturbed. Roti kapda makan is a basic essential need, and the government should ensure that food is available to all. And on individual level, devotees should also ensure that they get healthy food, nutritious food, so that they can remain healthy and practice spiritual life. Hare Krishna. I'd like to pause here and I'll open my for any discussion or questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your intelligent lecture. I will now, devotees can ask share the realization or ask some questions if required.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, then was pronounced.
yes,
So,
yes, Prabhu.
very nicely you shared about food and about how things are going in the opposite direction. There's one thing that came to my mind was generally people think good food means tasty food. so, so anything that enhances the taste, then they think it is good food. But then the concept of healthy food and also the Vedic concept of ahara shuddha, then from there how the benefit of getting to sattva guna. There's that verse which talks about that, and then where the buddhi becomes very
Ahara shuddho, sattva shuddhi,
sattva
sattva shuddho,
shuddhi,
dhruva
yes.
smriti, smrtir lambhe sarogantiram vipramoksha.
Yeah. So those concepts are almost like absent, and that's how people end up eating whatever they think is good food because they had good food. Why means because it was very tasty. So that's it. So I think somewhere better that has to get changed, and then there'll be because I saw there was one Satvik restaurant run by a devotee where this particular shloka he has put up very nicely in his restaurant. So here in Bangalore only, and then so yeah, I think there's a long way to go for society on that line. I think.
Yeah. Nowadays, people look for taste, not for
Hmm.
Actually, food can be simple, and you're not the rich. It's not that rich food is healthy. Simple food is also healthy, like khichdi, sabjis, roti. Actually, roti is sabji, rice, dal. This is actually complete diet with some ghee. That completes the food. You get nice. In rice, you get carbohydrates. In
Yeah.
dal, you get proteins. Then chapatis and all give fibers and carbohydrates also. And then vegetables give vitamins. So mostly things are covered. And if you have some ghee on top, then you get some fat also.
Hmm.
So, but nowadays people eat pizza, pasta, pani puri, and other kind of food, which is not complete food, complete diet. So one may get deprived of some nutrition in that.
Or ISKCON Khichdi has to be popularized.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Gaurahari Prabhu, and Pranam.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much for very nice class, Prabhuji. Especially you gave the overview and setting the tone for rest of the chapters in the sixth canto. I think that was very helpful. Understand what would be the flow of narration and story by Deva Goswami. I have one question, Prabhuji. You were mentioning about the industry, right? Food industry, where they are growing animals and feeding a lot of grain to that, and human being are deprived of that grain.
Uh,
Um, So this logic, I think it's easy to explain, at least to people who have some, Vedic culture and Vedic background. So the logic of, how much carbon footprint, some carbon footprint we are spending and all those things. But now the next, generation, now not the next level of, destruction is happening. They said, okay, instead of growing animals, we grow meat in the lab. We are not killing any animal, and we are growing meat in the lab, and we are growing, this type of proteins and this in the lab. So how to actually, this question came up, Prabhuji. Can we, consume the lab grown meat because we are not killing any animal?
But that is,
Really,
what is that called as tissue culture? Huh?
yeah, Prabhuji. They grow the meat actually, the lab. They said
Yeah.
because of food scarcity, this is going to be the food of the future.
Acha.
All these, big companies, they are doing that, Prabhu. Yeah.
Oh. But is it natural to eat such kind of meat?
No, it is not natural.
Produced in this,
It's not at all natural. It doesn't have sunlight. It doesn't get the nourishment from the sun. No, photosynthesis happens. But how to actually?
That's tamasic food. Tamasic food. Even like, for example, if we have to give biological reasons, then so biologically speaking, our body is meant to eat vegetarian food only. I have one PPT here. I'm just sharing. Is our body meant to consume meat? Let's compare. So carnivore and herbivore. No? So carnivore, the facial muscles are reduced to allow wide mouth gap. So it can open big mouth. Herbivores, well-developed facial muscles because we can talk, we can speak and all. Humans have well-developed facial muscles. Then you see jaw motion. Carnivore has minimal side-to-side motion. Carnivore has only up and down motion, like this. But we can move side also. Cows also can move. Jaw movement is sideways. Teeth. Carnivore has short and pointed incisor teeth. We can cut through the flesh. But herbivore has broad and flattened and spade shaped, like our front teeth are spade shaped. Yeah, they have canine teeth which are long, sharp, and curved to tear flesh. Herbivore is dull and short, or none sometimes. And humans are short and blunted. They have only 4 canine teeth. That too for cutting some, not for tearing flesh, but for tearing sugarcane. Molar teeth of carnivore are sharp, but herbivore is flattened. Humans are also flattened. Right? Chewing. Carnivorous animals don't chew food, they swallow food. Herbivores like cows, they chew extensively. Humans also have to chew extensively. Saliva. Carnivore saliva is acidic saliva. Herbivore and human saliva is alkaline saliva. Okay. So carbohydrate digesting enzymes are present in herbivore and humans. Because carnivorous animals don't need much carbohydrate, they need more protein, so uh, they don't have that this thing. So stomach acidity, the carnivorous animals acidity is very high because acidity is required to digest flesh. In our human body and herbivore, the acidity level is 4 to 5 pH, but in carnivore it is 1 pH. So very highly alkaline it is. Intestine length is also, in carnivore it is about 3 to 6 times body length, but in herbivore and humans it is 10 to 11 times the body length. So intestine is very long in humans. Colon, simple, short and smooth, but in herbivore and humans it's long and complex. Why? Because non-veg food has to come out very fast. It can't stay long, otherwise start decaying. But vegetarian food can stay a little longer in the body. Yeah. So it can do slow digestion. That's okay. Carnivorous animals don't have perspiring holes. They don't sweat. But herbivore and humans, we have millions of skin pores to sweat. Right? So like dogs, they cool themselves through the tongue. They open their mouth and hang the tongue, and then they cool themselves. So in this way, nails, carnivores sharp, but herbivores have flattened nails and blunt toes. Humans have flattened nails. So we don't have to tear flesh like that. So anatomical reasons also can be given. So why we should not eat flesh. So anatomical reasons, social reasons, health reasons. So all this can be produced. Even recently I was hearing that but like cow milk is nourishing, is like nectar for the body, but cow flesh is dangerous, it's cancerous for the body. By eating cow flesh, one get cancers and one will die fast. So that reason also can be given to stop eating beef. Okay, bro?
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavata Pranam.
Yeah, we have doctor here.
Excellent analysis about the teeth and the saliva you have done, Prabhu. Very nice. And Prabhu was asking about lab-grown the flesh, no? But that lab-grown flesh, that initial, that nucleus should be there, no? That is from the natural flesh. You cannot produce anything on your own. It is from the, that base is the flesh only.
Flesh only, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
They take one cell and then multiply it by tissue culture,
yes,
solution, and then
yeah.
So it is flesh only. It's the source is not vegetarian.
Yes.
And nowadays
thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Dandavata
Pranam. Mataji. Nowadays people say that even eggs are veg. So they want to eat, and they justify, okay, egg is vegetarian, you can eat egg. But actually eggs don't grow in trees, no. They come from the back of the bird. So eggs are also non-vegetarian. Hare Krishna. Okay, Bruce, thank you very much for your wonderful participation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. If there are no questions, we can close with the Vaishnava prayer.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Vancha kalpada rupasya kripachanti piyavitse
Patitanam
paditanam
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo
Vaishnavibhyo
namaha. Karandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai,
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Gurudev ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Dandavata
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.